Anton, we all attended the meeting on Thursday that you had here at the Ski Boat Club about the proposed MPA. Am I right to say that it looks as if the voice of reason has now come to the fore?
Yesterday we sat down, there was a lot of people here yesterday, very concerned stakeholders of the lower South Coast, and they formed a committee and a steering committee, and hopefully we'll see from there. But yeah, it's nice to see that everybody is worried about their coast, and it's not only about the fishing, it's about everybody's livelihood, not only the fishermen but everybody's livelihood, but from basically from Scottsboro right through to Port Edward. It's going to affect everybody. So yeah, so we're waiting in bated breath to see what's going to happen with the proposals from the KZN Wildlife.
It was pretty obvious that the province acted without even consulting the local government and you know, certain key people. And the municipal officer here yesterday made that quite clear, that he will actually be on your side.
Yes, it's really refreshing knowing that we have got council backing with us on this at the moment. And if you looked around the floor yesterday, we had some very hard-bearing people from the community that were at the meeting, and very concerned guys. And yeah, and basically that's what the committee is made up of some good citizens of the lower South Coast.
Yeah, a while back at the golf tournament at South Broom, the MEC, Mr. Mbayakulu, in an interview told me that the people can be assured that nothing will happen unless all the stakeholders have been consulted.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think KZN Wildlife didn't go, do the whole thing in the right manner at all. That they haven't approached anybody. I know for a fact they didn't approach tourism. I know, I've heard what the government, our local government, hasn't been notified of it. Naturally, they've heard about it through now all the media in the last 2 months regarding this MPA. So yes, no, none of the councils that are concerned about it all have not been notified of what the MPA intentions are. Something that keeps on coming up is from Tamsin Livingston from KZN Wildlife. She keeps on saying, please, we must all Google Pakiza and see what Pakiza is all about. And if you Google Pakiza, it says that the President Jacob Zuma wants to open up the wealth of the oceans to the people of South Africa. And he says it's worth probably 100, I think in the article I read this morning, about 188 billion rand that they expect to come from the oceans, at the same time giving hundreds of thousands of direct job opportunities. So with putting an MPA in here, I think it's got an adverse effect to, open the Pakiza and the MPA are opposite each other. So I don't know, I don't understand what they're on about. Yeah.
Anton, just for clarification's sake, just summarize the proposal for the MPA and what you initially thought the ramifications would be.
They showed us, projected it for us on the screen, saying that implementation of a category B, there's A, B, and C. They're all different classes. What you can take, what you can't take. And originally it was basically from just north of the Umzimkhulu River right through down to Impanjati River. It was going to be basically close to a sanctuary, that you couldn't do anything. You couldn't even swim in the sea. The nets, and they would have to lift up the nets and everything like that, because the shark nets are part of fishing. So it would have affected the coast directly. I mean, it would have closed down the coast completely, because this is the only place the only thing that we live off down on the lower South Coast is off tourism, because we've got no industry. There's no industry here whatsoever.
What was the motivation for this proposal? Was it fracking or oil exploration?
Well, it's coming out now that a white paper has been sent out, or they've got the mining rights to frack straight off our coast, coming right up close to the shoreline, not 40 nautical miles out, but right up to the shoreline. So if they enclose a very strict MPA, of course, naturally, then it will also impose sanctions against them, any thought of mining or fracking in our area. So at the end of the day, I think probably that's what the whole thing is all about. The MPA is more not about our fish here, because if you take our fish reserves at the moment, they are excellent, absolutely excellent. I think we've got something like 32 different species of, diversity of fish here. At the moment here, over the last 2 months, 3 months, and well, all the year, but I mean, especially after the holiday season, the amount of fish that here, our Protea reef is not in trouble. That's the least thing. And again, I think I've said in the past that one of the scientists made a statement to say that if there's a lot of shark activity, that means it's a very healthy reef. And we've got that. We've got the shark diversity here. It's incredible, the amount of different types of sharks that we've got here. And they're basically resident sharks because of the abundance of food for them on the reef. So, yeah, I don't think our fishery is in a bad state. So I think probably on the MPA side they're more worried about the fracking and the mining than what is being removed from the sea.
Well, but surely there can be a solution to help both sides. I mean, to stop the fracking, but still to keep the fishing.
Well, government is government. Government, they're the boss. They can stop anything. So if they say that they don't want any fracking, or the environmental scientists and whatever get in and they say, well, this is what fracking is going to do to our coast, then actually if it's going to hurt the coast, then actually they can stop it.
No, stop that, but don't stop the fishing. So, and I think that's the way they should go.
Well, yeah, they should never stop the fishing. And even though, and it's proved in the North Sea and the South Seas, in Mexico and everywhere, where they've got these oil rigs pumping oil and gas and that through to the mainlands, those oil rigs, they're renowned now, and they know that it's actually aggregated the fish. So the fishing has become a hell of a lot better now than it was before, because they got all these rigs that they got in the ocean are acting like an aggregate. The fish, it's a fish attracting a device, so the fish will always go to that. You'll put something in the sea permanently, and then you're going to get crustacean onto that, especially on steel. They love steel, and they'll climb onto that, and then you get your swimming crabs, and then your smaller fish eat off the little crustaceans, and then the bigger fish will eat off the smaller fish, and the bigger fish eat off the smaller fish, and it just goes bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's what we call a FAD, a fish attracting device. Me personally, Anton gets. If they put an oil mine outside here, I'll be the happiest person in the world, because it's going to help my fishing and at the same time increase the price of my property.
Anton, thanks very much. We're also going to speak to some other role players, and as developments happen, we will follow up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just on a closing thing, that if I'm going on air and people are going to hear what I say. The fishermen that we've got here, generally they like to protect what they've got. And if there is going to be anything out there that they feel that's going to destroy or destruct the fish, and in any way that they can repair it and amend to it or stop doing things, they're the first ones that are going to do it. And the other thing is important too. Now, this is to all the fishermen out there, that if you're going to take anything out to sea, you must eat it yourself, not to take it and just decimate all the fish out there and come back and brag how many fish you caught for the day. Those fish are there. We want our grandchildren and their grandchildren to be, and this is what this whole thing about the MPA is also about, that our ocean will remain good forever and ever. But if we're going to keep on just taking out fish, and it happens all the time, we see that they catch extra fish and then they just give it away to the black people. And the typical example of that was this last weekend, where a marlin was caught and was given to somebody, and they took the meat off that and just threw the carcass back down at the base here. I mean, and that's what we don't want, because it's somebody's probably, I don't know what they've done with the fish or anything like that, but to go and eat 200 kilograms of fish, that keeps a whole family going for over a year in fish. So what I ask the guys, please, if you take from the sea, eat it. Don't kill it.